Start his recording. And we ready.
Yo, what's up? This is the General Thoughts Podcast. I'm here with ONINESIX.
What's good? Yeah.
What's up?
Ain't nothing, man. Chilling. Ready for a new episode.
Yeah. I'm ready too, man. We getting close.
Yeah,
Close to a deadline.
for sure.
We got some new information. I'm excited about that. That's controlling a lot of my thoughts. And that's one of the reasons that we slowed down on the Queen Team Chronicles too. But I'm doing time. I'm not letting the time do me.
For sure.
I'm staying busy.
Right.
And through this process, I'm connecting with a lot of people. I recently spoke to a friend of mine from Philadelphia, PA.
Right.
And we was talking about activism. And I asked her, how did she get into activism and, advocating for the wrongfully convicted and the juvenile lifers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And, her response was, it's in her blood. You know what I'm saying? Her father, he rebelled against going to fight in the war.
Right.
You're saying he couldn't box. His boxing license was taken from him. And he stood on principles. And she just like him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was telling her, like, a lot of my support is in New York. I don't really have a lot of support here in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And unfortunately, this is where I'm boxed in at. This is where I'm locked up at one time. But I really don't have a lot of support here. My support system, my team, is from New York. I'm talking about my team outside the courtroom. They in New York.
Right.
My lawyers, I got one of the best legal teams in the country. They from Pennsylvania. But so during that course of that conversation, I brought up the fact of how progressive our states are.
Right.
And we're criminal justice reform. And I brought that up, and the abolishing of the Rockefeller laws came up.
Right.
One of my favorite movies growing up was Crush Groove. Remember that movie?
Yeah, for sure. Classic.
You know why that was my favorite movie?
Why? Because it took place in the Bronx?
Nah, not because it took place in the Bronx. Because Blair Underwood did a phenomenal job portraying Rush, as he was known as then, Russell Simmons. You know what I'm saying? And he was making moves, like the way he was moving, the way he was passionate about his brother, about the people around him, being successful.
Right.
Even at a young age, I was attracted to that. You know what I'm saying? And I would watch that movie over and over again. Some of my little friends, my little cousins, they gravitated towards a Run. Run had the blocky chain on, he was the rapper, Whose House, Run's house. But I was more drawn to
the CEO.
Rush's, his character. You know what I'm saying? And the same way he was in that movie, he was passionate about Def Jam. He was passionate about things he did. I know he came under some fire recently or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he was passionate about these things. And one of the things that he fought hard for was the abolishing of the Rockefeller laws in the state of New York. You know what I'm saying? Him and Jay-Z.
So for those who don't, yeah, okay.
Those who don't know,
right? What the Rockefeller? I want you to explain to them what the Rockefeller laws were that were put in place.
I'm a New Yorker. I was in the streets hustling.
Right.
At a young age, kids from the urban America, we was drug dealers, and Rockefeller was the governor of New York at one time.
Right.
Right. And he had a lot of power and influence within the political world. And the Rockefeller laws was introduced to paralyze the drug trade.
Right.
But for us, for the young kids, you could get caught with 7 grams, 14 grams, anything, an ounce.
Right.
An ounce and under, you can end up getting 15 to life.
But not just any ounce. If you had an ounce of cocaine and you had an ounce of crack, it's two different things.
It's different.
Right.
Right, exactly. And we know how the disparities worked out in the federal judicial system as well.
Right.
But the Rockefeller laws sent a bunch of kids away with life sentences in New York, 15 to life, 10 to life, whatever.
Right.
And the disparity was racially motivated. The disparity between crack cocaine and pure cocaine and who used what. There was a line drawn and it was racially motivated.
Right, absolutely.
When Russell Simmons and Jay-Z got in position and was becoming who they was meant to become, they took that battle on.
Right.
And they fought for the abolishing of the Rockefeller laws, and they were successful.
Right.
And I wrote about that in one of my novels. It's a fictional novel, but when I write a novel, I want you to feel like you're living it, like you're breathing it, like you can smell it.
Right.
So I tend to put actual events in my novels for time. For time holders, for time, so you know what time frame this was in, what was going on, what the climate was, what the culture was, why this story was being told.
Right.
And I admired them not just for their hustle in the music industry and coming up from nothing to something, but to take that on.
Right.
And to be successful. Even today, Jay-Z, one of my favorite album is Reasonable Doubt.
Right.
I identify with his mindset 30 years ago.
Right.
Today, what he's doing for criminal justice reform is amazing.
Yeah.
Prisoners in New York are able to call their families for free. For free.
For sure.
Because of the work Jay-Z was putting in. Now that foundation is laid,
yeah,
I want to talk about why Pennsylvania is not progressive like that.
Right.
And why it feel like it's still so draconian.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
right.
I asked Kalia one day, I said, Kalia, why you think it's so hard to get stuff done out here? They fighting for 25 to life. They fighting for second degree. They fighting for this. And I said, it feel like the celebrities from Pennsylvania, they leave Pennsylvania. And I know from my journey that they got friends that's caught in this system.
Right.
Kevin Hart, Meek Mill, Will Smith,
Right.
Eve. These are celebrities, big time celebrities. She said, not everybody leaves, Ty. She said, I run into Patti LaBelle sometime.
Right.
And I said, damn, Patti LaBelle, the prize is all that.
Right.
But that's not her thing. She not from the streets. She never had a true. I doubt. I don't know her personally. If she ever had interlocutory relationships with people who ended up in prison with severe sentences.
Right.
So I asked, why is that? You know what she told me?
What she said?
Philadelphia does not celebrate their celebrities.
Well, I said for Rocky. Right?
Except for Rocky.
Except for Rocky. I mean, he do got a style. A fictional celebrity do got a statue in the state of Philadelphia.
In the city of Philadelphia, in the state of Pennsylvania, Rocky Balboa does have a statue in Center City. That is a whole fact. You know what I mean? And I just wonder, man, what it would be like, you know, if some true strength and power put their boots on the ground in this state.
I'm not aware of any. I mean, other than like I said, other than Rocky Balboa, of their white. Who's a white luminary star from Philadelphia that people would know? I can't call any off the top of my head.
Probably Senator Fetterman.
That's it. They got congressmen. I mean, I know they got congressmen, right? But yeah, they football players come from other places, right? They never had a true Philadelphia PA born and bred football star, right? They never had a. I'm not sure of any rock and roll people from Philadelphia.
Me neither, man. I can't really say.
So I'm just trying to see, because I say that to say, because we have a whole bunch from all over. You know what I mean? Like from New York, you'd have a whole bunch. You got what's his name from the Beatles. He wasn't from New York, but John Lennon was like a New York staple. You had a whole bunch of actors and other people from New York as musically inclined stars as well. So I would see how it would be, you know what I mean? Like how it would be in New York. But Philly, I can't think of anything like that they pride themselves other than laws. I know they pride themselves in being a city of brotherly love and their judicial system, which needs a serious overhaul.
I mean, Philadelphia is the cradle of civilization, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of American civilization, I should say.
Right.
You know, but it feels like they're 20 years behind, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got great lawyers doing great things here. But where is the activism? You know what I'm saying?
And it's so segmented too, right? It's fractured, right? Like, because what laws pass and what goes in Philly doesn't go for York or doesn't go for Strasbourg or.
Well, it's like Philly. Philly got a progressive prosecutor right now.
Right.
And so many guys that I grew up with in prison that had life sentences, they free. If they was wrongfully convicted, if there was integrity issues with the conviction, and if they couldn't withstand a second set of eyes,
right,
they free. You know what I'm saying? But the other 60 something counties don't have conviction integrity units. They don't, you know, and most of the district attorney offices are held by Republican elected district attorneys, and they are hell bent and committed to keeping the prisons filled. You know what I'm saying? Right. But again, this episode is about activism. Right. You know what I'm saying? We not criticizing people. We not. No. It's about activism, man. You know, and I'm listening. I'm watching. I'm in a great position. You know, and I'm talking to heavy hitters on a regular basis. And I often wonder, like, what if I had a couple in the state of PA. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, I tell Jason all the time, I know this ain't the sexy state. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I know this ain't Texas, this ain't Louisiana,
right.
this ain't New York.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he always tells me, man, he said, let me be the judge of, you know, how important your freedom is to me. You know what I'm saying? And they working. You know what I'm saying? But boots on the ground here in this state is uncommon, like on that level. Even like the grassroots organizations that's trying to get things done. They feel like they had the same mission for so many years, and nothing has been done. You juxtapose that to what we opened up with, the work that Hove and Russ did in the state of New York.
Right.
20 years ago, that was 20 years ago when the Rockefeller laws was abolished.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, just curiosity.
Let me.
And I'm always at.
No, I was gonna say, let me. Yeah, you can finish your thought. I wanted to ask a question. I'll ask a question after you finish.
It's just curiosity for me, man. Like, what if, you know, I'm a writer, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I paint characters in the corners and I want to see how they react. And I have a curious mind.
Right. So I want to ask you this too. Like, criminal justice is like the new, it's like the new rap game. This is where people come in, they get their shiny suits, they, you know, they get up there, they have these banquets, these things for money to help free people. But in Philly, you said there's a lot of grassroots organizations, but do
that's not really making no. They're not gaining no traction.
right. And I wonder if that's because everybody want to be a star in that field. Like, don't you think that being that we all in Pennsylvania, we would all work together as a big and make it a bigger group, a multi conglomerate of thing. We still work in our areas, but together we band resources together and we make it a bigger movement. So it'd be like how the Black Panther movement started off in, in Chicago or whatever, and then it went out and they had Philly and then they had New York and then they had, and they were all representing that one thing, as opposed to being we the Black Panthers, we the Pink Panthers, we Yellow Dogs. Like it's nobody respect that.
I still think that even if they all combine, you know what I mean? Like right now, the second degree thing is going on, and just imagine if a celebrity would attach their name to that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And say, yo, it's time for change.
Right.
I think in all things you need to get stamped.
Right.
You need to be endorsed. You need an endorsement. You need power behind you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I was saying, like, yeah, I'm listening.
My answer to the question is I think if they all combined, it still wouldn't make a difference.
You don't think it will make a difference? Like, the reason I say make a difference, I'm not talking about the power they have as individual groups coming together, but the cash, like how BLM started. BLM started as something entirely different, and then as they morphed into that thing, and everybody congealed around that cause that they were fighting for at that time, it met them. And then all the celebrities, everybody was, white, black, was saying, oh, Black Lives Matter. Everybody was saying that just because it became a more bigger, like it looked like it was bigger than that small group that they started as.
I agree. I agree 110%. But what I'm saying is I feel like even if they combine, if you had the CAD be combined with the abolitionist law center, and they all work together. They all communicate, but nothing's being done.
Right.
There's no progress.
Right.
You understand progress comes in pieces.
Right.
But there's no progress.
Right.
And they're not the only city in the state.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So, of course, that's a great question. And my answer to that question would be, they're still 20 years out. 10, 15 years out from progress, like true progress. I think the next big thing to come down the hatch, like, all right, so I'm going to end it with this. All right. Imagine if they had spent time and energy and resources fighting to have the right to court, access to courts restored, instead of having a time bomb place. And you gotta put energy into that for 20 years. The population in Pennsylvania, instead of it being 40,000, would be 20,000 or 30,000. But what they fought for in this state was parole for lifers, geriatric stuff. They have fights that I've been hearing the same stuff since I was 21. Right. And I haven't seen any change yet. You just imagine you put that energy, had that energy been put into restoring the post-conviction process to its original form. Right. So this what I say about that. Do you think, because prior to you speaking on the time bar and stuff like that, I haven't heard anybody on any scale speak of that being a problem in the criminal justice field. Because you have to go through it to know it, and if you want solutions, you gotta go to the people closest to it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I've been talking about this forever. You know what I mean? I'm not for the last decade, the last 10 years. I've been talking about this ever since I went public with my situation and what I was going through and how I was wrongfully convicted and how I was maliciously prosecuted. Right. Nobody's talking about the time bar. The time bar restricts or strips a judge from having jurisdiction. Right. So if the judge doesn't have jurisdiction, then he has to tell you this claim, this thing is untimely, whatever you argue, whatever violation you suffer from. Why didn't you bring this to the court's attention sooner? Right. That's what the whole thing is about. Due diligence and a time bar go hand in hand. It's all about jurisdiction. Right. It's all about keeping people out the court. Right. You know what I'm saying? So just imagine they would have been fighting, because prior to 1994, it wasn't that way. So what made them change it in 1994? What made them change that? Money. Let's see. Right. The money coming from Washington. So you had Bill Clinton get elected. Mm-hmm. You had a progressive. You had Democrats. You had Joe Biden ahead of the judicial branch of the Senate. Right. And you had America on fire. You was coming off the riot, the Watts riots. You was coming off the South Central blazes. You was coming off of, DC was under siege with the crack epidemic. New York was off the meat rack, and it was just too much. And they decided we had to stiffen the laws. And right. Stiffening the laws, not just doubling the sanctions, the penalties. Mm-hmm. They decided that once we put you in, we're gonna make sure you don't get out. Right. Okay. So it was a part of their war on crime. Absolutely. Right. So that's part of it. Absolutely. Because I'm like, what if that's something that's part of the law, that's a legal part of the judicial system? Why would they change that? Because I'm gonna say this. We should stop right here and pick back up from here on the next episode, because the time bar is not something that you talk about and quickly. Okay. Shorthand, you write about shorthand. Right. It's a lot to it, and to understand it, it's gonna take us about a whole episode. Okay. All right. So there you got it. I mean, this been another episode
The wrongful conviction podcast, General Thoughts podcast. Right.
We'll be back next week.
Right.
Thank you for tuning in.
For sure.
Thank you for following us, for liking, for listening, for sharing. Go buy a book. I'm on Amazon, Tysheem Crocker. Book the Nibble. I got 11 titles up there. Shout out to my man Jason Flom, the Wrongful Conviction podcast,
right,
which I was on. And that's probably what O was thinking about.
Yes, yeah.
If you haven't heard that yet, you need to go check that out.
Yeah, episode 330.
That gave us really the ability to do this. We wouldn't even be doing this if I had not done Jason's show. Right. And that's the honest to God truth. Right. There would be no General Thought podcast without me doing the Wrongful Conviction podcast. Peace. We see y'all next week.
All right, peace. And all the links to everything he talked about is going to be in the books, the podcast, everything, the website. So just go check it out. Subscribe if you ain't subscribed. And we out.